We might be working. Let me go ahead and. Oh, actually, I gotta go to the settings to test to see if this is working. Hold on. I gotta go on my actual phone because I can't play it through no audio. I can't play it through no audio. Audio. I can't play it through no audio. I can't play it through no audio. Oh, damn. I didn't even have a thumbnail. Damn. Oh, okay. Let's. Okay, shoot. You can't even change the thumbnail on here, can you? Shoot. I gotta change it. Can you change it while you? You can't change it while you live. I don't think. Anyway, let's just do it now. Yo, yes, sir, man. The Prodigy is in the building. If you watch this video back, I'm actually thinking I'm going to maybe post it as a recording, or I don't know. What I might do actually is this. Since it's live and recording, I might just do this. I might just post the recording and yeah, it'll just be the live or whatever. So just in case you wanted to know, we were live when we filmed this for the people that's gonna watch the video instead of the live like I'm doing right now. But anyway, what's good, y'all's Project Man? Today we're back again on another video, a live video. We're doing a live video, but it is DJ as I Prodigy in the building, and I'm trying to think, should I record this as a stream, or I already started the stream, so you know what, we'll just do that. Anyway, what's going on, guys? We are in this thing, you know what I'm saying, getting it live, getting it started, and this is DJ giving you his thoughts on the 2026 Royal Rumble. Now, I know a lot of people usually are on these things really long talking about them, and I'm trying not to be long, but I can't guarantee no promises. But anyway, we're going to keep doing our thing and doing it well, and let's go ahead and get this live started. Starting it off with the first match of the night, which was the Women's Royal Rumble. So 2026 Royal Rumble review is here, and the women's match started with Charlotte and Alexa, and you know, they kind of played the role of best friends in the beginning of the Royal Rumble. They kind of played like, we're friends, you know, we're partnered up together, everything's cool, everything's great, everything looks good when the world's gone bad. Anyway, started buddy up together, and I think maybe the third or fourth entrant was Lola Vice, I think. And yeah, so outside of like the first two people, nobody really was getting a reaction until like number 10, or I forgot which. Whenever Sol Ruka came out, she got a nice reaction. Then I think Chelsea Green came out at some point. She probably got the bigger reaction. And it goes to show you they actually like have some love for Chelsea, even though she's not even put at a main event level. It goes to show you if you can get yourself popular amongst the fans, like you don't necessarily have to be like I guess you could say if you can somewhat become a fan favorite. I don't know why that was struggling to say. If you can somewhat become a fan favorite, then you know the crowd will get live for you. You know what I'm saying? They'll give you your they'll give you some attention. But anyway, so yeah, Chelsea Green comes out there, and she of course, you know, they beat her up, and I actually kind of liked the fact that she kept getting saved. I think once or twice by Alba Fire, her friend, I guess, that's been on screen, and she kind of saved her from getting eliminated at times. So I'm glad Chelsea wasn't like just thrown out immediately like how they would do. But anyway, yeah, so boom, she was in there and she got a good reaction from the crowd. They were sharing her name and stuff like that. And then, you know, we started finally getting a couple more stars, and then because, you know, Bayley came in there. Then they started getting EO in there at number 20, or I think it was either 20. I think it might have been 20 or 21. And then Rhea came out there. So they finally started getting more of the stars in there, because it was a lot of people that just weren't. Natty actually got a pretty good reaction, you know, instead of Natalya. Natty actually got a pretty good reaction. I gotta be fair. She got a pretty good reaction. And then Asuka and EO, yeah, Asuka and Kairi Sane came out there, and they even had a little fight there with Julia, EO, and Asuka. That'd be a great triple threat if they ever did that, a match like that. But they fought a little bit in there. Lash Legend was out there. She looked really good in there. I'm glad that they had her be so dominant, because if I'm not mistaken, she eliminated Charlotte. The ones I remember for sure, she eliminated a couple people, but I think for the ones I remember for sure was the big ones I remember and noticed was Charlotte and Rhea. And Charlotte was in there the longest, obviously, because she started at number 1. And also they threw who else was thrown over? Oh yeah. I think Charlotte was trying to deliver a big boot to somebody, and she knocked Alexa off by, you know, accident and stuff like that. Yeah, Liv Morgan had came out there, and they actually got to the point where all of the Judgment Day was out there, and I made a mistake. I think Lash actually eliminated Charlotte. That happened. I think it was actually Raquel who eliminated Rhea. And that's where I remember being shocked. Maybe she eliminated Io. Maybe that's what I was thinking. But anyway, she eliminated Rhea, did Raquel. And then right after that, that's what I remember. Because right after that, Liv threw her right out there. So they're already telling that dissension story right there with the Judgment Day. And, you know, the Judgment Day's been all cool and kumbaya, my lord, and roasting marshmallows on the stick over the hot campfire. So it's been about time since they finally actually teased that, hey, man, they might not be good. They might not be good. But anyway, and then the last two entrants was, I think, Brie Bella. That was, I laughed at that. Shout out to you if you follow me on TikTok. I posted a highlight video of the entrances and reactions that I had during the oh wait, it wasn't for that match. It was for the men's match. Never mind. X that out. For the men's match, I did do that. I did not do that for the women's Royal Rumble. Well, I did a little highlight, but it wasn't that part. But anyway, it was more the ending sequence of the Royal Rumble because I just wanted to kind of not just post a bunch of long clips or whatever. So anyway, yeah. So Brie came out there, Brie Bella in there with Nikki Bella. You know, I don't know if she's there like that, but you know, hey, the Bellas, come on, man. But yeah. So then the last entrant I thought was either gonna be like, it could have been Bianca. I didn't think Bianca, but it could have been Bianca. That's who I was expecting to win. If Liv wasn't gonna win, that was my my runner-up if she was in it, but I didn't know if she was in it or not. So then we got on to who was it? Number 30 was Tiffany Stratton, a return there. You know what I'm saying? And I figured she would come back. I wasn't thinking it actively, but I wasn't like shocked that she came back or anything. But you know, one has to think you would have thought she probably would have been there earlier, and then maybe something like a Bianca or AJ Lee or something like that go at the end. But they did not do that, so still don't know when we're gonna get AJ Lee. But you know, she wasn't here. But anyway, Lash Legend, like I said, looked good in this match. She eliminated a couple of people. Like I said, the most notable name being Charlotte Flair, who was in there for almost, she was like 10 seconds away, I think, from being in there for an hour. So that was nice. And the last three people ended up, I think, being, because I didn't say everybody that was in the Royal Rumble, but you know, we gotta go, you know, we can't go over like literally every person. But anyway, last part of it was Tiffany Stratton, Sol Ruca. Shout out to Sol Ruca, the NXT call up. You know, we you know, seen her work and everything. And shout out to her. She came out there, I think off the rip, she delivered like a springboard 450 clothesline. It's like where she does a front flip, you know, where you front flip, land on your feet, and it clotheslined her on the way down. That was nice. Kalani Jordan did like a 450 off the top rope. I do remember that. That was nice. Did anybody else do anything that I could think of? I don't think so, that I can think of off the top of my head. But yeah, it was a plethora of other people in the Rumble, but I'm trying to get more of the highlights of kind of who was there so that y'all ain't just here all day. But anyway, last three were Sol Ruca, Liv Morgan, and Jacy Jayne, the NXT Women's Champion, was in there. And Jordan Grace, just other notable names. But last three was Sol Ruca, Liv Morgan, and Tiffany Stratton. And so they actually had a spot where, you know, they fighting back and forth a little bit. I think we even got a double soul snatcher. That was nice. And where she kind of, you know, does the front flip off the corner into a cutter. It's a nice, great freaking move. And then Tiffany did like her little, you know, thing. I think it's a rolling senton where you put somebody on your shoulders and roll forward. And she did her prettiest moonsault off the top to Liv. And then there was a spot where they all were outside, like both all kind of thrown over the top rope and, you know, kind of hanging their feet up to make sure they wouldn't get eliminated and feet didn't touch the floor. And so for whatever reason, I don't know why she did. I said it at the time. I said, I don't know why you would do that. But she went for her soul snatcher outside the ring where like you got to bounce off the ring post. But it was easy slim pickings for Tiffany because she just like pulled her leg out from underneath her as she's trying to hit the soul snatch. She just pulls her leg out and she went right to the floor. So that eliminated Soul. And I was just like, I don't know why you would try to do that move on the outside. But anyway, Shabuya. The match ends with Tiffany getting hit with Oblivion, where she kind of, you know, Liv runs into her, kind of clotheslines her across the rope and brings her down into a flatliner. But she did it in a way where she pulled her head onto the top rope so that she rebounded off the rope, and that eliminated Tiffany Stratton. And Liv Morgan, as I predicted, as I was 1-0 in predictions at this point. I can't say new, I guess new Royal Rumble winner for the year of 2026. That is freaking fire that she did end up doing that, and we did predict that to happen. So anyway, great to see that. Obviously, we know Saudi has the budget because they gave her a lot of pyro. Like I say, we know Saudi has the budget. So she got a lot of pyro going off, and we predicted this, man. Now, the story coming out of this could be that Liv Morgan, maybe she goes after Stephanie Vaquer. Is she going to go after Stephanie? Well, yeah. Okay, yeah. So she going to go after Stephanie Vaquer. Vaquer. I don't want to say Vaquer. That sounds ratchet. Vaquer. I like to say it like that. And she's going to go after Stephanie at WrestleMania. Now, Stephanie this Monday, I think, does have a match with Raquel, and it's like a street fight. I don't know if they're going to have like Raquel get the belt and then do the story between Liv and Raquel at WrestleMania. I doubt they would do that. Because Stephanie, you would think they would want somebody like her on WrestleMania with how she can wrestle and all that type of stuff, and her how she's taken to the crowd and all that, and being champion and being good in the ring. I don't think they would take the belt off her. So, but there will be some story told because Liv did eliminate Raquel when she had the chance. She went and eliminated her. She said that they was all gonna be friends. She said they was all cool. She said Judgment Day was gonna get the win. Blah, 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 blah. And that didn't happen. Boom. So there's a story unfolding there. We'll see what happens, and we'll see how Finn feels about all of it. Dominic, I don't know what's going on with him, all the way different type of reports going on with him, but not sure how he's going to feel about it. But yeah, man, Judgment Day, man, finally showing some crack in the shield from this newer version of the Judgment Day. So finally showing some cracks, man, some dissension. So we'll see how that story unfolds come Monday. But the Women's Royal Rumble overall, I felt it was okay / solid, because I actually felt those last 15 to 20 minutes is when it really started feeling good, because the first part of this match, I'm not going to lie, it was lacking that life, that lifeblood that you need when people say, shoot it into my veins, man. You know what I'm saying? It kind of was lacking that lifeblood. It mainly because it was, people coming out there that you didn't really care for. Like, I think Becky Lynch was in the Royal Rumble, and they kind of forwarded the story with her and Maxine Dupree as, I forgot who eliminated who, but they kind of all eliminated each other in some way, shape, or form. And yeah, so I guess they could be, I thought we were going Becky AJ at Mania. I don't know if they're going to try to do a triple threat or something. I'm kind of over the Becky Maxine saga. They've had like 4 matches. So I don't know what they're going for, but I don't know. Maybe they could culminate it before WrestleMania. I'm not sure. But anyway, moving along, considering AJ costed her the match with the title, so that's another reason why you thought they were going to go towards Mania with that. But they could. Still got time. But anyway, next match, man. Unfortunately, oh yeah, I think like I said, Women's Royal Rumble was solid. I think I rated it about a 6.5, not quite 7, just because a large portion of the match for the first part was just like kind of lacking excitement. And then in the last, like I said, 15 to 20 minutes is when I really start feeling like, okay, this is what we should be, feeling that sense of urgency. And also when the ring clears up more, it's also easier to watch the Royal Rumble. But anyway, I just realized I ain't even mentioned this is the first live of 2026. I knew I had to do one in the first of the month, and I just decided to do it with this video. So just a little side note until we get into the second match, which was, unfortunately, spoiler alert, if you ain't seen it yet, you need to see it. It was the retirement of AJ Styles, because he went up against Gunther Zerringenal. And I don't know if it's just me, but I kind of feel like this is the last person he should retire. Like, he can beat other legends, but as far as like retiring them and ending their career, I personally kind of feel like AJ Styles should be the last one, because this was a great match. I think I gave it like a 9 out of 10. It was pretty much dang near a perfect match as far as like they did all their stuff. It was very brutal, very physical. AJ hitting strikes. Gunther had this one spot where he was just beating him up in the corner, just lighting him up with straight chops in a row, just like, and they're good ones too, not even like the ones where like, they didn't really get much of it. He's lighting him up with like thunderous, eardrum breaking, loud sounding chops, sound barrier breaking chops, just in a row, and just lighting AJ up. But AJ does his thing, he hits his normal moves, I don't think he actually got the phenomenal form. I don't think he was ever able to hit it in the match. Or was he able to hit? I don't think he was able to hit it in this match, but AJ went for the calf crusher. Gunther was going for the choke throughout the match. They even fought on the outside of the ring at the beginning. Gunther's doing his usual, right? He hits his big boot and his clotheslines and his power bombs and all that stuff. And there was even a nice near fall spot where they did I think AJ, there was a nice one where AJ power bombed Gunther out of the corner. That was a 2 count. And then there was a spot where Gunther had the referee like kind of shoved up against the corner, and he did the little, the mule kick in between the legs right into the jewels, the low blow, and then hit AJ. Did he hit AJ with a power bomb or something? I think it was. And it was a nice near fall. Man, that last minute kick out was great. And then AJ ended up hitting he was beating up on Gunther. And he even got to a point where he had a springboard 450, and right after the springboard 450, like 3 seconds later, right after that, he hits his Styles Clash, and I was like, yes, great combination. I'm thinking like, oh yeah, let's freaking take it home. I don't mind being wrong on the review or in my predictions, and Gunther did kick out. And then then the match ended with AJ getting a choke. He countered a time or two, and eventually. He countered so many times, and he just couldn't counter it anymore. As he was reaching towards the ropes, he couldn't get there. He kept fighting out of it. He kept, hitting and elbowing Gunther in the leg to break apart the choke, and broke apart the choke actually way better than Cena did. And unlike John Cena, AJ Styles, he couldn't get to the rope, and unlike Cena, he did not tap out. My man's AJ went out how you should go out, and that's on your shield. If you're going to go out on your shield. And he passed out to Gunther. The bell rung, and it was a great match. It definitely was better than Cena's match with him. Not just because AJ's a better in-ring wrestler, but I just thought the ending was just better. And it had more variety as far as like kind of what we saw throughout the match too. You know what I'm saying? It had better pacing and all that good stuff. But anyway, the career of AJ Styles in WWE, at least, we don't know if he's going to wrestle in other companies, but in WWE, it is indeed come to an end. It is over, man. Give a little AJ Styles appreciation here. Debuted obviously 10 years ago at the Royal Rumble. That was kind of the whole thing with his retirement. Like, he retired 10 years almost to the day that he came into the WWE at the Royal Rumble. So there's the value, sentimental value, emotional story there, and also the story of, him putting his career on the line. It could have been a better story as far as, like, I think if Gunther would have got really personal with his family or something like that, that would have made it more of like okay, I want to get at this guy so bad I'm willing to put my career on the line. I think that would have been more warranting of like putting your career on the line than just I want a rematch. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, that was the only criticism I really had. But the match was fantastic. The crowd was making noise. The women's match, they didn't really start making a noise till like consistent noise till like the last 10 to 15 minutes, which is when I felt it started getting good. So I guess fair enough, fair play. But shout out to AJ Styles, man, from the great series of matches he had with John Cena, from the feud that he had with Samoa Joe, who can forget the Wendy when he was involved in that story. The match he actually recently had with CM Punk was pretty good. Wasn't their greatest. I thought they could have did way better than they did. Not that they did bad, but we know there was next levels to it. But we'll never see the next level because he's gone. But anyway, but yeah, I do think Gunther retiring AJ Styles is fine. I do kind of feel like they shouldn't go to the well with that too many times, because then with all these legends, there's that lack of variety. Because it's like, well, if they're all retiring to Gunther, that kind of sucks in a sense of like, there's no variety. Like, okay, Brock Lesnar is most likely going to retire at SummerSlam. Like, that'd be cool if Obafemi, right, build him up as the next beast, or a Braun Breaker building those two guys up as the next beast. That would be to me a better candidate to retire Brock than Gunther, only because also if Brock is going to be, if Gunther's going to retire Brock, it's kind of weird because, like, they're both big, bad heels. So that's another thing, is like, at least with Obafemi, like, they would like him. You know what I'm saying? So to like, retire Brock and whatnot versus Gunther, where it's like, okay, would Gunther be cheered there? Because, it's not like everybody loves Brock or anything. So, I don't know. But that's a whole situation, the whole talk for another day. But, again, shout out to AJ Styles and what he's done. He's been in some he's had a great, what is he, in the top 10 of like longest reigning WWE champions? I mean, the man became WWE champion within his like first year being in the company. That was great. Had it funny enough. Speaking of Brock, had a great match with him at Survivor Series. Like, just thinking of some different stuff I remember here. You know, in Cena's retirement tour, had a great match with him. A 10 out of 10, probably greatest love letter to wrestling type match ever in the history of people that have tried to do like love letters to wrestling. I don't think anybody did it better than John Cena and AJ Styles did last year at Crown Jewel. And yeah, man, you tore it up with people like Seth Rollins. That was another person he, you know, really did some great things with. Funny enough, Gunther. But yeah, sucks he couldn't mix it up with. Funny enough, we never got that Braun Breaker match. They teased it once, I think, last year, and we never got that match. So sucks that he couldn't mix up with certain talent. And then Carmelo Hayes, he wrestled, but he had, you know, they had to call the match off early because he tried to do that Ushigoroshi where he, you know, kind of does like an attitude adjustment, but he falls into his knee, and then I think he, you know, messed up his calf or his heel or something, ankle doing that. So sucks that we couldn't see that match really go how it was supposed to, especially now that Melo's the champ. That would have been cool. But yeah, had a great match with Shinsuke Nakamura before he hung his hat and set it off into the sunset. He did have a great match with Shinsuke Nakamura at Saturday Night's Main Event. So I'm glad he got to kind of reconcile that match and let us know, hey, this is really what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be this level of performance that we, unfortunately, at the time that they fought at WrestleMania 34 did not give. But even though he can't run it back with some of the people we know him for, especially like a Randy Orton, you know, they've had a plethora of matches, didn't get to run it back with him, but it is what it is. It's great to see that AJ Styles mix up with a lot of people. Generational wrestler, generational in-ring performer. You know, he's his own man. You know, people say the Shawn Michaels of his generation. You know, I've said stuff like similar to that before, but he really is his own guy. There is really only one phenomenal AJ Styles, and one of a kind and a generational wrestler who's inspired multiple, especially like smaller wrestlers, you know, inspired them around the world, and a lot of them use his moves to this day. So shout out to him making the impact that he did. Funny enough, not just in TNA. There you go with that little pun there. But in WWE, man, I'm glad that he got to at least have a decade-long career in the WWE, because he did come there at a later age. So it's dope that, because he came in, I think, like 38. So it's really, honestly, thankful for AJ Styles for having a 10-year career, giving us 10 years of his life and career in the WWE, in the big leagues, you know, because it's blessing that he got to wrestle in a decade, you know, considering how late he came to the WWE age-wise. So dope that we got to see it. And we'll never forget you, AJ. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for what you done. He didn't even put his gloves in the ring. I think it was because he saw the crowd was booing, so instead he threw the little hands up like this, you know, where it makes the phenomenal one with the gloves. So that was cool. That was great. And like I said, great match. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't personally think Gunther should retire another legend. Beating him is fine, but I don't think he should retire more legends, just because, like I said, I feel like we can save that for somebody else. I hate when they put all their eggs in one basket, because even though I liked Roman's title reign when he was as the tribal chief, even I was like, great, and building him up is great, but I was like, but don't put all your eggs into this one guy, though. You know what I'm saying? That was the only issue I was having with Roman, is like, with his booking, is like, it seemed like he was the only one getting this like high level great booking, and it kind of made you go like, man, imagine if like a babyface or like somebody the crowd was with was getting like strong booking like that and winning. But anyway, that's another talk for another day. But yeah. So they should put their eggs in the basket of people like Braun Breaker and Trick Williams and Obafemi. Hopefully those guys get some strong booking as well, and not just Gunther, because again, you're putting all your eggs in that one basket, banking on him. And people are even talking about him retiring like a Randy Orton, because it's like career killer versus legend killer. You know, it'd sell, and it'd probably be a great match, but I just don't feel like he needs to retire like every single legend, because then again, like, you don't leave nothing for any other younger talent, because there are people, like I just mentioned, are like years younger than Gunther. So I think it would do wonders for them, especially if they're over with the audience. It would definitely do wonders for them to, you know, have them retire. And also, these legends don't always got to retire to like heels. Like, that's another thing. Like, these legends don't all got to retire to heels. Like, you know, when we saw Shawn Michaels retire, I mean, he was retiring to a babyface Undertaker. And, you know, Shawn Michaels a babyface when he retired Ric Flair. Like, we can see face versus face, or kind of like just that respect of, like, you know, a younger up and coming star being a Legends last match too. You know what I'm saying? It don't always got to be a heel beating him so that we got to feel let down. You know, sometimes we can just watch two great wrestlers go at it as the guy's last match rather than it has to be this big bad heel. But I'm just saying for variety. I'm not saying you got to do that all the time, but I'm saying it's just for variety. You know, that's all I say. But anyway, moving on to the next match, the low point, which was Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre. I gave this match like a 6 out of 10, only because it was kind of, well, another thing is, you know, and it's funny because now Drew is 12-0 and I was 3-0 on predictions by this point out of 4 matches so far. But Drew McIntyre beat Sami. Only thing I remember from this match is he delivered like 3 Future Shock DDTs. Sami kicked out of that. I think he even kicked out of a Claymore earlier than that. And then Sami got put through a table. Sami hit a haluva kick. Drew kicked out. He hit a Blue Thunder Bomb at one point. Drew kicked out. And then Drew hit him with a Claymore, and the finish was him hitting him with a Claymore. And then he had this kind of look in his eyes at Sami. He just Claymored him again and back to back. And 1, 2, 3. And that was it. That was how Sami lost and he finally is defeated in Saudi, because before, you know, they love Sami, Pop do great for him, was singing his song all in the crowd. And I don't know if, speaking of the crowd, I don't know if there was some people that just weren't really in the crowd like that, because even though they had all those lights, it seemed like it was a notable empty amount of seats potentially. I'm not sure how much of that was it was a good bit of empty seats, or was it all really just like how they lighted up the room? You couldn't really see them as much, but you know, because they would be like to brag on their numbers, so it's like, we see the numbers y'all be talking about around here at least, you know what I'm saying? Because they did build this arena or stadium, I think, in like 20 days or whatever. So they'll move mountains for Saudi, because they move mountains for WWE with that money. So anyway. Hey, if WWE move mountains for Saudi, then Saudi gives them the money to do it. There you go. But anyway, match was the low point. Like I said, I gave it like a 6 out of 10. This is not a match I watch back, because bell to bell, it wasn't bad, but there was no cheating. There was no nothing. It was just kind of like Drew just straight up beat him, right? You know, he's 12-0 against Sami, and Sami is 0-12 to Drew. So I don't know what they're doing with Sami, man. I don't know if they're planning on making him maybe win the King of the Ring and win it at SummerSlam, because you would think at some point this year he's got to be the WWE champion, because this is how you prevent hurting and or harming, or further hurting and harming a character, is because it's one of those situations I've always say, like, you know, kids look up the winners. Like, the reason why people like me and others a plethora of others were able to look up to John Cena is because, like, a lot of time he would win. And sure, people got annoyed with that, but guess what? The reason why you believed in John Cena, the reason why you got behind him as a kid, is because he was a winner. Like, even as a kid, you support a winner. Nobody wants to be like, oh, I'm behind this guy who loses all the time. Like, nobody wants to be that. So in order for Sami not to, like, you know, lose the crowd, I think we need to kind of chill on hurting his credibility, because the man was like, what, the highlight of the Bloodline story, and that didn't even get rewarded with the title, with a world title. It got rewarded with, even though it was a great moment and a great match, it only got rewarded with a tag team title win at WrestleMania 39, like a tag title for this man being the highlight, and pretty much what brought the Bloodline story back to life and stopped it from and brought life back into it when it was getting stale. And he's rewarded with a tag team championship. I don't know, man. It's just, we need to get, because Bloodline level of, like, that was probably the most hype that Sami ever, popularity that he's had in his career, is when the Bloodline story really kicked off and he got over, as, you know, with the Sami Uso and the whole Usi thing. I just don't know if we'll get that level of, like, popularity with Sami again, with just how many times they have this guy lose, you know? Because last time he really won an important match, it seems like, because, you know, he won the Fatal 4-Way to qualify for the title, but that's different than winning the title. Like, the only time he's really won something that, like, got, like, as far as getting the job done, and I know they've told that story on TV that he can't get the job done, but I feel like eventually the guy has to get the job done. Like, you know, it goes from being a line people can use on him as a way to kind of add to the underdog, but then it starts becoming like, okay, you're not even an underdog, bro. You just don't get the job done. Like, you know what I'm saying? So they got to be careful with how many times they have Sami lose. I know everybody can't be champion, but you got to time this out right so that he's not just complete, like, you know, people don't just completely, like, you know, lose hope and just give up on the guy, you know? But they got to watch and be careful with that. But yeah, match just didn't really have a lot of life to it. Like I said, bell to bell, it wasn't like bad or anything, but I was watching it, and my whole time I was just like, man, I'm ready for like the main event. I'm ready for the men's Royal Rumble. Like that's literally how I felt for most of the match. Was like, I'm just ready for this freaking the Royal Rumble, the main event to just start, man. like that's how much I just didn't really emotionally feel much in this match. Like I reacted to a couple of things, but like as far as emotional attachment, I did not get that. So for me, either the best match of the night or the most fun match of the night for me was indeed the next match, and that was the main event. Like I said, we was 3-0 in predictions, and so far it's been I guess you could say a solid show up to this point. It was a solid show. And yes, we were at the main event, the men's Royal Rumble. Now this match started out hot. Like I said, now, this is the one I posted on TikTok. Shout out DJ's Project on TikTok, as you can see it right here, right. I might have pointed it some type of way. I don't know. Can I get it? Yeah, somewhere right there. You see down below where our DJ's Project everywhere you see on the platforms. But anyway, yes, we did get to the main event of the evening. The Royal Rumble for the men here. And we started off with entrant number 1, and it was my boy, the man I've seen in NXT, the man I've seen grown from a boy to a man. No, I'm kidding. The man that I've seen grow into a boy as far as what he's learned in his career. Like started as a rookie, and now he's a freaking clear-cut, top-level world championship winning professional wrestler, and that is my boy, the Ruler, Obafemi. And, you know, I was hitting the dance, you know what I'm saying, that he does down to the ring. I'm hitting the who, so is the crowd. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to NXT for, like, doing these chants, because if it's not for them coming up with these creative chants, like, it doesn't translate to these Saudi crowds. So don't sleep on it. Even if you don't like the show like that, don't sleep on that NXT crowd. Give them their credit. They coming up with the whoop that trick and all these other creative chants is why these stars have something when their entrance music hits and the crowd has something to kind of be invested in. And they even do kind of like the Goldberg thing where, you know, they used to say Goldberg. Now they go, oh, but you know what I'm saying? They're completely different characters, but it kind of reminded me of how they did with Goldberg. So it's great to see that Oba's already over. And this is his first main roster match as a main roster superstar. And so, yeah, they debuted him at the Royal Rumble. He comes down to the ring, has the aura, has the hype. Like I say, does his little dance to the ring. And we ready to get this thing started. Now, on Friday, last night, they had a botch, we think is a botch, where they flashed up the graphic that Braun Breaker was going to be number 1 because they do a little sports-like thing where they put the people that's coming out there, like give it a ESPN sports like presentation, because at the bottom of the screen they'll kind of put like who's coming out or who's in the Royal Rumble. They'll do a countdown. They'll show you how many people's been eliminated and all that. Like they'll do like a sports like thing where they show you all the statistics and stuff, and they mistakenly for like a second or two flashed up Braun Breaker entrance number 1, and that happened on Friday Night SmackDown last night. And I guess they decided to switch it up because they showed us a clip of the kickoff show where I think I saw it live at the time, where Paul Heyman came in there on Pierce and saying that, you know, you'll regret this decision making Braun Breaker number 2 or whatever. So yeah, Braun Breaker came out there at number 2, I think alongside Paul Heyman, and boy, oh boy, oh good God, Braun Breaker made his way down to the ring, and as he got towards the ring where he's like about to get in the ring, he gets blasted by a man in a black hoodie. I don't know why they don't change up the color scheme. You know, sometimes you can wear white hoodies, you know what I'm saying? Like I get it. Black makes it darker and easier and harder to see, whatever. But, you know, sometimes wear a red hoodie or a blue hoodie. That might be something different. Wear a Nike Tech with a mask, with a ski mask on. That's something. You know, just something different. You know, everybody don't got to wear the same hoodie. Everybody don't got to go to the local TJ Maxx or your Marshalls or your Burlingtons or whatever, or Target or your Walmart and just it's Dick's or Academy, whatever y'all going, to get the freaking black hoodie with the same type of mask. But anyway, I guess they all go to the same store. Maybe whoever's selling these black hoodies, from all these people all these mystery men that come into play being these black hoodies, y'all, whoever's been selling them, I know they're making money from the WWE, man, with all these guys showing up in this. But anyway, that's beside the point. Bam. He blasted him, and I don't know if it's Seth Rollins, but he did hit Seth Rollins' moves. He beat up Braun Breaker, super kicked him, I think, threw him into the steps, and then he hit a stomp. So I don't know. I don't think it was like an Austin Theory where like, oh, he's infiltrating, he's the spy, and that could still be a story, but I don't think that was him doing that. it didn't look like him from the hands, because that's all we saw was the hands and maybe like the eyes. And yeah, that happened. He stomped him and then literally threw Braun Breaker into the Royal Rumble, like into the ring. Royal Rumble's gone underway, and after he got beat up, stomped on the floor, Oba, once Braun got into the ring and kind of got up to his feet, Oba immediately clotheslined him over the top rope. Bye-bye, Braun Breaker. In less than 10 seconds, Braun Breaker, somebody that was favored to win the Royal Rumble, got eliminated that quick, that early and that quick in the Royal Rumble. That was insane. But they obviously did it with the forwarding some type of story. And yeah, Braun, if you thought Braun was unhinged and pissed when he came back from being suspended or whatever, you thought he was unhinged then, he's overly unhinged now come tomorrow. So that'll make for some exciting television to see how that story plays out, man, because the Vision's whole thing was we were supposed to get Braun Breaker to win the Royal Rumble, and I actually thought that they were going to tell a story of how the Vision gets eliminated by some of their enemies that were in this Royal Rumble, and maybe that's how Braun loses, but no, they just had him get eliminated and packed up quick after assistance from a guy in the black hoodie. But anyway, the next entrant that came out, I don't even remember. I think it might have been, I know that Rey Mysterio came out there. Actually, I think it was Rusev. He came out there. And Rusev came out there. Rey Mysterio came out there. Guys like that, they had came out there. And Oba was just getting them over the top rope. Like, I think he eliminated like 4 or 5 people or whatever. Early in the Royal Rumble, he was just eliminating people, and I loved it. They booked him dominant, had him be the first entrant in the Royal Rumble, and it was just fantastic. Like, I'm glad they booked him strong. And when you look at the size of Oba, it's kind, and just look at his presentation and all this other type of stuff, he just has it all. I don't know how you wouldn't have booked him strong. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like that they did a really good job on that. And it was really cool seeing that they booked him as strong as he should be. You know what I'm saying? Because that was a concern, especially from people that watch him in NXT like I did. There was that definite concern that maybe he wasn't going to be booked as strongly and whatnot, but that was not the case. And I'm actually going to look at the list here. I was trying to pull up a list of who was the entrants in the Royal Rumble. Dang, I don't think they have what I want. Do they have all of what I was looking? Yeah, they don't. Never mind. Okay, thought I was gonna be able to like kind of Google who was in the entrance of the Royal Rumble, but anyway, yeah, like I said, Rey Mysterio came out there. I think he got eliminated by Obafemi, and so did Rusev. Matt Cardona got in there. He got eliminated by Obafemi. So Obafemi was pretty much in the ring by himself at a certain point. But then my boy, one of my favorites, your boy is Bouncy. My boy, Young OG, the guy that's only a year older than me. Javon Evans, 21-year-old Javon Evans, Young OG. He came in there, did his thing, and it's funny because he even went for the thing where he leaps up and he bounces off the top rope and then like goes into a hurricanrana onto the guy. And he went for that move, and I was like, because he said before he hits it, he says your boy is Bouncy, and I was saying it with him, and it was like, oh, and then he was almost eliminated. I was like, oh, wait. I was like, oh no, for Javon, don't do that, because I forgot that move is not good for a Royal Rumble where you have to leap onto the top rope and then hit a hurricanrana. That is not a good move. Not a good move to deliver in a Royal Rumble. No. So anyway, Damian Priest came out before that. So it was Damian Priest, Obafemi, and Javon Evans, I think, was in the ring. And then who came out at, was there anybody specific that came out at number 10 that I know? I'm not sure if I remember. But anyway, the Vision had came out there. They even had a few comedy with I think it was Mr. Iguana. I think he came out there from AAA, another company. But yeah, he came out there, and I was, they got to do a little comedy, I guess. But anyway, I think it was number 11 maybe. Trick Williams. Trick Williams, I think, was number 10. At number 10, my boy Trick Williams came out there, and we were hitting that whoop that trick. Saudi's really loud with the whoop that trick chants. Love to see that. So the brothers, man, that had a great freaking 5-star match at Stand and Deliver last year for NXT. If you hadn't checked out that match between Javon Evans, Trick Williams, and Obafemi for the NXT Championship, that was a great Hall of Fame worthy match. Go check it out. All 3 of them boys was in the ring, and they fighting it out and stuff like that. And then at number 11, I think, was Cody Rhodes. There you go, the adrenaline in my soul. He came out there, he did some stuff. And then I think 14 and 15, somewhere around that area, I think that's when the Vision started getting in there, right? Austin Theory came out there. Big Bronson Reed came out there. So, yeah, they were coming in there, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, they were over there doing some damage, man. And I'm trying to think, is there anybody before I get to like that top 20 or that, last 20 or whatnot? Okay, now I can finally, I know. All right, see, now I got the list pulled up. And it was funny enough. I'm glad I did because I almost forgot this because I did want to mention this. So number 12 after Cody Rhodes was El Grande Americano. Look, they've kind of gotten this thing over. And look, you kind of just appreciate it for the comedy at this point. Now, I'm not one of these people that's like, oh, it's one of those, a little comedy or whatever. So El Grande Americano, that we believe is Ludwig Kaiser, he comes out there. And right after that was the original El Grande Americano, which we believe is Chad Gable. He comes out there, and Chad Gable, if you saw his workouts on Instagram or on going around on social media, the guy's jacked. I mean, he was already ripped, but now he's just freaking extra jacked and ready to go. And it's great to see him back. He came back from an injury, so dope seeing that. The original El Grande actually eliminated the new El Grande Americano. So it'd be funny if they actually did a WrestleMania match with these two. That would actually be crazy. And loser takes loses their mask or something. If they actually do that, that's insane. But anyway, that they had a little spot there. You know what I'm saying? That happened. And then, ladies and gents, number 14 was, if you don't know about AEW, you don't watch it like that, there was a man in there that had a lot of potential, I felt, but didn't really get those big, it was on TV, but was not really given that kind of big next level opportunity that people like me may have saw him in that type of light. But he comes over to the WWE and they threw up the graphic, and it was Powerhouse Hobbs. If you don't know, you will find out. And you won't find out it's Powerhouse Hobbs because right after that, they put Royce Keys, because that is his new name. I think Royce is his son's name, just how he got the name. Royce is his son's name, apparently. And I forgot, I think it was like a maiden, I don't know if it was like a maiden last name or something that has to do with the Keys part. I'm not all the way sure on that. But former Powerhouse Hobbs, formerly known as Powerhouse Hobbs, Royce Keys, came out at number 14. He had a nice showing. He comes in there and roughing people up in there, and stuff like that. So that was nice seeing him get his debut, and also just seeing something, different. You know what I'm saying? As far as like, we know all these people on the roster, so it was dope seeing somebody we didn't like, either expect, or if you did expect it, it's not like this man's been on the roster. Like, it was a completely new star, new addition to the roster. So him debuting at the Rumble, I think was really cool. I honestly think we need to see more debuts at the Royal Rumble. But anyway, like I said before, Austin Theory, Bronson Reed, they came out at 15 and 16. Funny enough, I actually said that before I pulled up the list. And I know Bronson Reed and Powerhouse Hobbs, I think they went back and forth a little bit. That was cool. That was nice. And shout out to Austin Theory's theme song. It's actually pretty freaking good. And my boy Ilya came out at number 17. He goes in there, hits hard, does his thing, as we expect. And then 18 was La Parka, like I said before. You know what I'm saying? Another AAA guy. Dragon Lee comes in there. And then at number 20, Mr. Humble himself, Logan Paul comes in there. And I think he came up to Royce Keys. And he said, like, who are you? And I'm like, oh, Logan, that is not the guy to say that with. Because guess what happened for his troubles? My man got beat up and then got hit with the world's strongest slam. Shout out Mark Henry. World's strongest slam by Powerhouse Hobbs, now known as Royce Keys. Yeah, he wouldn't he wasn't playing with that, man. I love to see it. So then my boy, the one I got the shirt on for, because they usually do big returns that, like, I've noticed in the Royal Rumble, they usually save for like numbers like number 10, 30, 21, 20, those type numbers. They usually, and obviously, 1 and 2, they usually try to have those type of numbers be like big stars, or either people or, massive stars, returns, whatever. And they did it for LA Knight. As you see, I had the shirt on, even though I knew he wasn't going to win. Yeah. LA Knight comes in there, and he actually does almost like a Cena when he came into the Royal Rumble years ago and eliminated the Nexus. He kind of did his own little version of that because he got his get back on the Vision, who, you know, beat him up, and Bronson Reed hit his tsunami. You know, he splashed him onto the car, and he got his revenge on them a little bit. And he's, you know, LA Knight, I think he hit like a neck breaker and a BFT. I think he hit a neck breaker on Austin Theory, and I think he hit a BFT on Bronson Reed. Could have got that wrong. And threw both of them over the top rope one by one, with Logan Paul, the only member of the Vision not eliminated. And it's funny how they're giving all this to Logan Paul. I think it's actually hilarious. But anyway, that happened. And so, yeah, he got a little bit of a comeback on the Vision. But then the next was number 22. Oh, God. Brock Lesnar. And we know how this goes. Brock comes in there. He with Paul Heyman, I think, and he comes out there, you know, and everybody all of a sudden is now not able to wrestle because he gets German, you know, Ilya, I think, got German suplex after Brock kind of no-sold, like Ilya hit him with like a 10 or whatever chops straight, and Brock just laughed and no-sold it and was like, come on, you know, like, is that the best you got type of thing. And German suplexed him. German suplexed my boy Javon Evans, who freaking sold it. He like got German suplexed and he like did the little, you know, headstand type thing. So he went crazy with that. LA Knight got hit with a German. Cody Rhodes got hit with a German suplex. So yeah. And then the stare-off we've all been waiting for, him and Obafemi. I think this is going to be a WrestleMania match. I hope it is, and I hope Obafemi beats him. And yeah, they had a face-off. And they didn't wrestle at this point yet, but they just had a face-off, because then who got involved in number 23, would you think it would be a massive star? But, I mean, technically it is, but just not, you know, what you were thinking. And it was The Miz. He's technically a name, you know what I'm saying, at 23. The Miz, and he came in there and rolled right back out, and I said, I don't blame you. I said, Miz, knowing you are The Miz, knowing you're kind of like the more smarter guy, just roll out that ring and wait till the heat blows over with the storm or whatever blows over. So they face off again, does Obafemi and Brock Lesnar. And I think they fought. I don't know if they fought yet, because then Rey Fenix came out at number 24 and he like springboarded up to the top rope, but I guess tried to launch himself at Brock, which was not a good idea, because he got thrown right back out. Like, I don't even think Rey Fenix was in there for more than like a minute, like 30 seconds or a minute or whatever. So threw him out. Then they finally started wrestling, and of course Brock hit a German suplex, and Oba hit like a big clothesline on him, and then Oba was beating somebody up in the corner, or was getting beat up in the corner, and Brock capitalizes and unfortunately eliminates Obafemi. Thought it was going to be the other way around to set up a Mania match and a feud, but as in I thought Oba was going to eliminate Brock, but as for the big pop, you know, but they had it the other way around for some reason, you know. Brock eliminated Oba, and I get making Brock look like a beast because he is a beast, but the fact that he comes into the ring and just German suplexes everybody, like I said, everybody just all of a sudden forgets how to wrestle. Like, they don't, you know, they can't hit no form of offense, they can't block, they can't elbow Brock or something to kind of throw him off a little kick, something. They just forget how to wrestle and get suplexed all over the place like they don't expect this move. But anyway, that's kind of a little tidbit there. But then Yeet Man came out at number 25. And look, man, I actually like Jay, but it's just I like other wrestlers more because they, well, one, show that they have more talent past, you know, the yeeting. And then we know Jay can cut a real promo, but the problem is they bring him out there for the yeeting and the entrance because they know it's over. So it almost kind of takes away from the fact that Jay actually can cut a real promo. Height of the Bloodline days, it was cutting great promos, and now they just resulted him to what he's gotten over with, which is the yeeting and the entrance. And he even took like 90 seconds or something. He came from the crowd. He didn't come from the entrance like you're supposed to in the Royal Rumble. He came from the crowd and waited, I think, until Brock got eliminated finally by LA Knight and Cody Rhodes, which was random. And also, we almost missed it because they were so focused on getting all the eating. You know, they're so obsessed with this thing now that they almost missed Brock getting eliminated by LA Knight and Cody, which is a random elimination. Well, that's why I say Oba should have did it, because it would have been more of a moment, but they just had LA and Cody just team up and throw them over. And I know somebody will be like, see, there's something for LA Knight. We knew we weren't going to win the Rumble, but you know, he eliminated Brock. And I'm like, whatever. But anyway, then let me see what else. There was like 5 more entrants left in the Royal Rumble, I think. And God done it, my page just went away. Yeah, Roman Reigns, that makes sense. Yeah, Roman Reigns, the man I picked to win the whole thing in my predictions, came out there at number 26, and he even takes his sweet time and gets the pyro, And he even told Jay when they went face to face in the ring, he even said, run it back. He told Jay to run it back. And then when he ran it back for like 3 seconds, Roman like freaking clotheslined him or whatever it was. And I think Roman was hitting Superman punches, and he had a spear, I think, on the Miz and threw him out. You know what I'm saying? And I forgot how all these other people got eliminated. So forgive me if I didn't mention like every elimination, because I don't even remember how Royce Keys got eliminated. So I don't know how everybody got eliminated. But I do know my boy Jacob Fatu, y'all that I mean, he came out next, and him and Roman had a face off, which they've had before. And Cody actually went for a dive through the middle of the rope to Jacob, but got stopped and all that stuff. And then surprisingly, Jacob got eliminated, or Jacob, I don't know who he got eliminated by. I don't remember, but somebody was trying to eliminate, before Cody got eliminated, Cody actually eliminated LA Knight by hitting a disaster kick as he got LA Knight onto the, ring apron over the top rope. He hit a disaster kick, and, there goes LA Knight. They couldn't even at least tease him with the Final Four. We knew we were going to win, because why push LA Knight, even though he's new and hot and over, whatever. Then Penta came out at number 28. Randy Orton came out there. He hit some RKOs. Enjoyed the heck out of his time countering people with the RKO. I think he hit a RKO on Penta as he springboarded off the second rope. I guess they go for like a crossbody or something. Caught with an RKO. Javon Evans, for those who don't know, they wrestled in NXT, and they tried to do a spot where Javon would jump up to the top rope and do like a jumping and twist, and Orton caught him into RKO, and he kind of made up for it in the Royal Rumble, because they botched it back then in NXT because he had too many revolutions and Orton couldn't catch him. But this time he just did one revolution so that it was, I guess, like easier, as he went for his OG cutter and got caught with a cutter of his own, or Orton caught him with a cutter of his own, that being the RKO, and threw Javon out the ring, and that's how Javon Evans got eliminated. Credit to them keeping Javon Evans as long as they did, because I will say I was surprised that he actually went longer than Obafemi. That was the shocking thing to me. I thought Obafemi for sure would have been like the Iron Man here, but Cody got eliminated because I think he got thrown over the top rope by somebody, but he landed on the apron. He wasn't eliminated yet. And Drew comes in with a Claymore, because I guess he said, I don't want him going to WrestleMania or win the Royal Rumble. And he Claymored Cody. Cody went out to the floor and was eliminated. That's how he got eliminated. And then number 30 was the ring general, fresh off of beating AJ Styles earlier in the night, Gunther, and retiring him, as he, comes out there and he looks like he just had a match not that long ago and all that. So he comes in there, and the Final Four ended up being, funny enough, when we got people eliminated and all this other stuff, the Final Four ended up being Logan Paul. It's just funny that he gets the more star treatment than the people that's been there. I just think that's so funny. I'm not even like against it. I just think it's hilarious. Like the vision, not even Bronson Reed or Braun Breaker. Like Logan's the one that gets into the last four. But Logan Paul, Randy Orton, Roman Reigns, and Gunther. So then they fight it out. I think Roman may have hit a Superman punch on the Logan as he tried to do his little kind of flip over the top rope into the clothesline, and it got countered with a Superman punch. And I think Roman threw him over the top rope and eliminated him. And then Orton got eliminated, I think, by Gunther. And then it was Roman and Gunther, which this is a dream one-on-one match we have not seen. Roman and Gunther, two dominantly booked guys at one point in time. Well, Gunther as the Intercontinental Champion, longest reigning Intercontinental Champion. Roman is the fourth longest reigning WWE Champion of all time. So the fact that we've never seen them clash is crazy, especially in their prime where they were like undefeated, is crazy. But anyway, Gunther and Roman have a little back and forth. Gunther kept trying to lock in a sleeper on him. Roman countered, got him off the buckle, hit the ropes, and hit a spear onto Gunther. Well, it wasn't off the ropes. I think it was just out of the corner. He hit a spear on the Gunther and then immediately threw Gunther right out of the ring as we had our winner, chicken dinner. 2026 Men's Royal Rumble winner, that being Roman Reigns. So we was 4-0 on predictions, man. I give this Rumble for the men a 8.5 out of 9. 8.5 out of 9. 8.5 or 9 out of 10. Maybe 8.5, 9. I kind of want to switch between 8.5, maybe. Just because there were things that could have been done better, or maybe just I preferred. Like Oba eliminating Brock would have been a great way to set up a match between them in a feud. And I will say I like that Javon Evans was in the ring as long as he was, because I did think that he was probably going to get eliminated, like I said, faster than Obafemi. But I'm glad they didn't do that and actually had him stay in there a while. He even had a nice spot where he did a springboard, and then Oba was trying to clothesline him or like, sweep out his legs from underneath him. And like Javon with the springboard jumped over his clothesline and clotheslined Damian Priest on the way down. So that was a nice spot I forgot to mention. But yeah, ended his, rebound off the rope into the insecurity type of thing. But anyway, just little spots I'm remembering now. But anyway, yeah, 8.5, 9 out of 10 Rumble. I thought it was really good, really fun, really enjoyable, and was not boring. Like, it was like I was emotionally invested the whole way through. Like I said, only thing that takes it off that point and a half is because it was things I think should have been done better or should have been done differently. Like, the biggest thing being Oba being eliminated by Brock rather than Oba eliminating Brock. That would have been a better thing to set up for a match. But maybe that's their way of saying Brock got one over on Oba so that Oba can beat him. Like, okay, Brock may eliminate him from the Rumble, but Oba actually, beat Brock into the ring. Maybe, but we can't trust it. We don't know if Oba's going to, it's either going to be Brock Oba or Brock Gunther, I would think, at WrestleMania. So, that being said, yeah. So, yeah, that was the 2026 Royal Rumble. Overall, I think I give it maybe a 7.5, 8 out of 10. Maybe 8 out of 10 show. The replay value is mainly to me for the Rumble and the men's Rumble, and then the later half of the women's Rumble. And then AJ Styles versus Gunther. So I probably give this show an 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. And then the WWE Championship match between Drew and Sammy. That wasn't a bad bell-to-bell match. It just wasn't all that exciting. It was hella predictable. And they didn't even go about the finish creatively. They just kind of had Drew just beat them. So, yeah. It was definitely some things wrong with the show. And that I would have done differently. And number 30 was just Gunther. I don't know why I get Gunther being in it. But I don't know why he was number 30 considering you would usually put 30 as either a massive return or a massive name. Or I don't know. I guess I thought that whether it be a Seth return or just somebody we either haven't seen or is a massive next level superstar would have been there. But I don't know. But anyway, love and appreciate each and every single one of you guys. If you watched the live stream, I did it live, just in case anybody wanted to throw some comments in there. And so if y'all want me to do more lives, y'all gonna have to catch the live. If y'all want me to do live reviews instead of pre-recorded reviews, you let me know. This was one of potential many. If y'all, like I say, mess with the live reviews rather than the pre-recorded ones, that way you can actually add your insight in throughout it. But love and appreciate each and every single one of you guys. Y'all let me know how y'all felt about the Royal Rumble in the post comments and all that good stuff. I'll upload it as a video as well, just in case that you don't see the live stream, or what I'm saying, I'll probably have a better thumbnail too. But anyway, love, appreciate you guys. Let me know how you felt about the Rumble. I give it, like I said, overall an 8 out of 10. It was a fun show for the most part, even though, like I said, there were things that were definitely downers and you just weren't feeling it. So that's why I say it gets that 8. But anyway, love, appreciate you guys. See you in the next video and or live stream. And at the end of the day, when I say it is what it is, or what it's going to be is this certified 100% guaranteed USDA approved, USDA choice, FDA approved product G. Legitimate as it gets. Continue to come out with the content, the videos, the bangers over and over again for you guys. And for those who don't know, I've been doing a fast food fast, which means I don't eat fast food for the whole month of January. And guys, that ends tomorrow. So I will eat fast food again. Still got to manage my weight and all that stuff. But I was doing it for my own self and just, get in better shape and all that. But still got to manage that. That's a side note. But anyway, love and appreciate you guys. And I shall see you in the next video. Y'all let me know the videos you want to see. Comment them down below. Because I'm going to post it, like I said, as a video, not just a live stream. So that they can get recommended better in people's homepage and stuff like that. So love and appreciate you guys. See you in the next video. That's the vibe that DJ's on, man.